Hey, what's up guys? Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. We have one heck of a week in the crypto market, so we're going to get right into it. Okay, first up, because I don't even know where to begin after this week, we're going to drive through the most important pieces of news, and then we're going to go into some additional research. We have, first up, CNBC's Jim Cramer has gone full crypto bear all over again. Remember, he was a full crypto bear during the FTX debacle during Bitcoin's bottom at 15,500 in 2022. He says these crypto assets all seem to be scams and I want you out of them. This is the same guy that was promoting Bitcoin religiously at an all-time high price. Also, he called Cardano Cardanzo. He's nothing but an institutional puppet. He promotes JP Morgan all the time. And notice right here, JP Morgan now has more than 13% of the nation's deposits and 21% of all credit card spending, a bigger share in each than any other bank. So just reviewing the past year, the past few months, the SEC is going after a variety of centralized exchanges: Kraken for staking, Binance and their subsidiaries and Binance US, Coinbase, Bittrex, all these lawsuits, and they're eventually going to be running out of centralized exchanges. And it's funny because we're finally seeing crypto Twitter band together, which this is how it should have been all along. We have Arturo right here, a very smart guy. He used to run the page XRP Center and he's also a fintech lawyer. And he's just retweeting, talking about different commentary from different guys that have bashed XRP or the lawsuit in the past, and now they're all coming together to stand up for Coinbase and Binance. But we all should have came together a long time ago, because now all these crypto projects and other exchanges are facing lawsuits. And the benefit is that XRP has the chance to get out of this and get regulatory clarity before all of them. So he says these guys are just starting to scratch their heads on the exact same theories that XRPers, us conspiracy theorists, envisioned more than 3 years ago. Exactly. Meanwhile, the SEC is doing the same thing it did during the SEC lawsuit. Whether it is actual SEC officials or people they know, there is insider trading going on all the time. So we can see right here, yesterday someone opened a new coin $50 weekly put for $107,000. This expired in 4 days. So super fishy timing, because yesterday the SEC sued Coinbase, and these positions are up big, nearly 2,572%. They turned $100,000 into millions. Someone always knows. So I think we can all agree this is an entire attack on the crypto asset class. The SEC is going after different centralized exchanges, naming a list of different assets that are called securities. So if we're using Binance US and you bought any of those assets, or a US citizen bought using a VPN on Binance where they're not supposed to have an account, the SEC can take jurisdiction. Once again, they see these other exchanges as threats. Bitcoin was born in 2009. The US government has had over 10 years to get regulation in place and set up proper legislation. They can't stop the future of crypto. Money is going elsewhere. Innovation is happening in a variety of countries and regions. Meanwhile, they're suing some of the biggest exchanges. We have NASDAQ opening a crypto trading desk. So this is on NASDAQ's website. So whether it happens this month or this summer, very eerie timing. We also have SIBO right here getting into crypto, the Chicago Board Options Exchange. They got a yes to launch leveraged crypto derivative products. Besides that, we still have the world's largest banks and custodians creating crypto trading desks and infrastructure. They want to own the infrastructure and the liquidity. They want to control the system in a centralized manner, and I don't see that happening. Now, do I think they're going to have some crypto trading desks in the future and be successful? Yes. But if an altcoin is called a security, what happens? Is it listed on one of these brokers? Therefore, we do not control and own the private keys. So the broker would control and hold the private keys, and we would have to trade through that broker and pay different fees. So bottom line, a lot of crypto assets are at risk, but we can see the largest banks and custodians, trillions of dollars, AUM, assets under management, all building solutions. We have Bank of New York Crypto Custody Service, received approval from financial regulators in New York for holding Bitcoin and Ethereum. $42 trillion assets under custody, 1.8 trillion AUM. You have Fidelity, Charles Schwab, and Citadel Securities to launch a crypto exchange. You have State Street and State Street Digital, 4 trillion. So not financial advice, but I personally believe that XRP is not a security. Early on, perhaps, but as they even said, and the SEC agreed, that an asset, if it started off as a security or was sold as a security, it can change its classification if it becomes more decentralized. And Gary Gensler is using laws from the 1930s and says that everything is a security besides Bitcoin. How convenient for him. It's just so crazy to me and so hypocritical. We have Coinbase getting approved for their IPO by the SEC years ago. We have Jim Cramer and all mainstream media shilling the IPO of Coinbase. And then the SEC comes after Coinbase a couple years later. So fishy. The US court gives SEC 1 week to respond to Coinbase's rulemaking petition. And as Brad Garlinghouse says, the SEC is throwing lawsuits at the wall and hoping they distract from the agency's FTX debacle. Gary Gensler was meeting with Sam Bankman-Fried. The SEC got money from SBF. Where is that on the news? Did the SEC protect investors from Luna, from FTX, from 3AC, from Celsius? No. It's embarrassing to watch an unelected bureaucrat flail like this to mask the fact that he and his agency don't have the power that he desperately craves. And right here by blockchain backer, know the game being played. Jim Cramer, we like Coinbase, $475 back in 2021. Next up, we have Binance US will remove select trading pairs and has paused OTC trading because of this SEC lawsuit. So we can see basically, it looks like 100 different altcoins with a Tether pairing getting paused and removed or delisted. I have personally removed all of my assets and holdings off of Binance US to other exchanges and other personal wallets. This sucks, I love Binance US, and I hope this passes. We have Wendy right here just highlighting Binance US volume and monthly visits on CoinGecko. You can see the account reserves. This is a lot more public, unlike a variety of US banks. With King Solomon, when the bull run occurs, US citizens might not have anywhere to sell their assets. They are trying to attack the on and off ramps. So please, as I always say, have multiple backup plans. This is why you have to create a variety of exchanges for backups. They don't have to be your main exchange, but you have to have them set up. I personally KYC so that my withdrawal limits are as high as possible, because during a bull run, there's a variety of exchanges that go down. So I don't talk about Caleb and Brown for fun. This is linked in the top of my link tree. This is a free broker. You can have it set up. You don't have to use it, but have it as a backup for a rainy day during a bull run. Because during previous cycles that I've experienced, Binance has gone down, Coinbase has gone down. Sometimes it's a few hours, others it's a full day. If you're a US citizen, you still have a few options. Have a backup plan. It is worth it. It's worth the hassle to create a variety of accounts just in case. So for on and off ramps for US citizens, what do we have left since Binance US is attacked? Who knows what happens with Coinbase? I think everything will be fine, and I think they're just delaying this as much as possible, and I do believe this is max FUD in the market at a very important time. Coinbase might be out of the picture, hypothetically playing worst case. Binance US out of the picture. You still have Uphold for on and off. Kraken, although getting sued for staking, I still believe you have an on and off ramp. Gemini, I'm not 100% sure. I'm not the biggest fan of that exchange. I know they did have a lawsuit for staking as well. What else? I haven't checked Bitstamp in a really long time. I know Bitrue, you can fund your account with a debit card. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but if worse comes to worst. Same thing with MetaMask, or even like Hashpack for HBAR. You can actually use a debit card to purchase some tokens. So there's different ways to fund, but bottom line is they're making it more difficult for regular investors that may not be tech savvy and maybe just have a Coinbase or just a Binance US account to have access to crypto for on and off ramps. There is a method to the madness. So this is linked in the top of the YouTube video description under my link tree. Must have OTC broker. Meanwhile, we have the former CEO of Binance US, Catherine Coley. She actually used to work for Ripple, and she personally helped me a few years ago with OTC purchases on Binance US. She was super nice, and she basically went complete ghost and disappeared from the public mainstream news in April of 2021, which is super strange. And she seemed to have talked to authorities about Binance in January 2022. So I'm very curious what is going on. I hope it's not another FTX debacle. I really hope, because past 2 years have just been wild, but we're going to see and keep tabs on this. And I really want Binance US to survive because I like the trading pairs. I like the order books. I'm not a huge fan of Coinbase. I like using trading bots with Binance US. So now I'm forced to use other exchanges in the meantime. Remember previous bear market cycles, they can last a very long time. Cardano took over 1,000 days or 1,100 days to get back to its previous all-time high. These bear markets are by design. They last just long enough for us to question our sanity. When we're at market lows, this is when the average retail investor that put in $500 and is down to $50 left is calling it a scam. They rage quit, they exit the market, then the markets pump. And big shout out to XRP King. Shakeouts happen because they work. And remember, during a bull run, when prices are going up, good news is coming out in tandem with it. So we're seeing positive news, positive developments, and we're also seeing price move up with that. It makes us feel really good. Price targets go even higher. And the same thing happens during a bear market. When there's FUD or bad news, it's a lot more powerful if we see the bad news in tandem with prices crashing. It's all based on fear and greed working our emotions. I encourage you to look at a variety of price charts, ideally legitimate assets that are building real solutions that have been around for 3 or 5 years. You will see different cycles: distribution, huge accumulation phase, recovery, huge expansion phase, back to distribution, big 90% crash. Wherever we are in this cycle, this too will pass. Just remember that 2 months from now or 6 months from now, prices could be in a completely different spot. If you're looking on the 4-hour chart, you could be scared. If you focus on the weekly and monthly, you keep the macro and big picture view in mind, and it helps keep composure. And I love this tweet from Asset Conductor paraphrasing Warren Buffett's quote. If you're not willing to own a crypto for 10 years, do not even think about owning it for 10 minutes. If you're holding a good asset that has real developments, ample funding for the future to survive future bear markets, are expanding, have live use cases, real technology, real roadmaps that they're hitting, and it can be measured, you should have nothing to worry about. So Casper, just friendly reminder, Casper Wisekey with SpaceX. Casper Network was the first NFT to be minted from space, and this was in tandem with SpaceX and Wisesat.space constellation. And that's one use case connecting IoT device satellites to track goods. We talked about this a bunch of times, on to the next one. Even highlighted by NASDAQ showing Casper Network, the first NFT from space. Talked about Casper Labs and Quest Global with new supply chain solutions, and I want you to consider the IoT tracking billions of devices, healthcare, and supply chain, and the effect on supply chain. So Quest Global right here to build new supply chain solutions on the Casper Network. So they have 56 global delivery centers, 17 countries, plenty of Fortune 500s, huge organizations like Siemens. So I do speculate, not financial advice, that Siemens will be or is working with Casper. Automotive, energy, healthcare, high-tech, rails, and semiconductors. We can see that Casper is also expanding into retail, improve customer experience and retention with Casper Labs for retail. So we know why Casper's modular architecture with upgradability with NFT metadata is a big deal to improve customer experience and retention, brand loyalty. There's a variety of applications that can be built around this. Casper has never experienced a bull run, and it was born at the beginning of the bear market. So I'm very excited to see Casper perform during a bull run. And there are hundreds of different applications that can be built with this. And my personal prediction, not financial advice, is there will be several Fortune 500 companies that we know today that are building loyalty programs on Casper's network. NFT-based coupons that are unique to a user's credentials, and they integrate directly with your website, reducing transaction fraud, just like the great things that Hedera Hashgraph is doing with the Digital Commodities Exchange for fraud mitigation. And I can't emphasize this enough, the future of crypto, blockchain, DLT, and AI are going to play a huge role in the future of not just finance, but enterprise adoption. These networks, even if they use private networks, they're still going to have to connect to a public network. And this is tamper-proof, so you have the security of a public network. You can cross-reference your private and your public instance for an audit trail. So there are huge benefits for enterprises to connect to Hedera's Hashgraph or Casper's network on a public basis. What does that mean? It means there could be huge demand for tokens like HBAR and Casper in the future, and think of it like AWS credits, just like Casper Labs CEO has said. The more computation and transactions happening on the network, the better. And apologies, in a previous video, I thought this was 90% of market share. We can see these three, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud, all together account for 65% of the entire cloud market. Casper Labs already has Google Cloud's integration in tandem with AWS. And think of it like this, Netflix uses AWS for nearly all of its computing and storage needs. Netflix essentially lives and relies entirely on Amazon Web Services, including databases, analytics, recommendation engines, video transcoding, and more. Hundreds of functions that in total use more than 100,000 server instances on AWS. And as for cloud technology, just like for crypto, the average user isn't aware and doesn't care that Netflix basically lives there. They don't need to. All they care about is if their applications work. And the same will be for underlying DLT protocols. The average user won't even know which blockchain networks their services and applications leverage. They just need to know it works. Not everybody understands how a cell phone works. Not everybody understands how a debit card works when you swipe it. They just use it. That's how adoption should be. And this video is getting long, so we're going to finish up with this. Check out this price chart by Credible Crypto. And if you look at the moving averages for Bitcoin on the 3-day and 4-day, we're in a very similar position. But what's interesting is Credible Crypto shares. October 1st, 2020. Criminal charges were brought against Arthur Hayes, the owner of the largest crypto derivatives exchange in the world, BitMEX, by the Department of Justice. Remember where we are at this stage of the cycle. Don't let the FUD shake you out. So let's see what the summer brings us. XRP is another day closer to regulatory clarity, potentially before a variety of altcoins and huge assets in this market could be one of the biggest catalysts in crypto history. We have Bitcoin. If it was going to crash and close the CME gaps, I thought it would have done so already after all of this bad news this week. We have broken the 500-day MA, which is interesting. I'm hoping we can get back above that level, because if we looked at yesterday's candle close, it was very interesting. We had a bullish engulfing candle, as you can see. So this entire candle engulfed the previous bearish candle. The 4-hour price chart might be scary, but the monthly time frame for me looks absolutely fine. Remember, the RSI is basically at a very low level as it was during previous bottoming structures over the past 10 years. And if we simply do what we've done for the past 10 years and retrace before the Bitcoin halving, Bitcoin still goes to 40K. It is not the end of crypto. We hit a $3 trillion market cap all-time high. We're still around $1 trillion today. This asset class is here to stay. The question I ask myself is which altcoins are here to stay and which ones will yield the best returns during the bull run. If you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate if you could hit the like button, let me know your thoughts down below, and my link tree is linked in the top of this YouTube video description, with all links, crypto resources, and discounts. I'll catch you in the next one.